Hola, buenos días. Soy Nico.
Look for the silver lining. Look for the silver lining. Can the silver lining look for me? Because at this point, this bitch is going to have to wait for my 10-minute break because she want to play hide and go seek so fucking bad. Help me!
And today, Nico, I am back in New York City. The worst timing. Nico. If you're not a part of the Patreon gang, basically, I uploaded the Patreon exclusive this morning when I was about to catch, like, the midnight train to Georgia. Well, to New York. But I was about to catch a midnight train. I was like, okay, when I get back to my apartment in New York, I'll record since I get home around, like, 8 a.m. And then I will upload the early access video. Girl, y'all did not tell me New York was flooding again. Nico, I got off that train station. I got off that subway. I was pumping my little sneakers. I was in my gray sweatpants and my scissor hoodie because I went to go see Scissor. Nico, I just got back from seeing Scissor. But I get out the subway and bitch, I'm drenched. I have like a 7-minute walk from the train station to my apartment, and I was fucking soaked. Like, it was so bad. I was shivering and I got in the shower and I knocked out. If I can find video of the flood water, I'll show you. But I was fighting for my life and nobody gave me the heads up. All my friends back home are just like, oh girl, you coming back tonight? There's parties we gotta go to this weekend. Y'all didn't tell me I was about to swim through New York. But yes, moving forward. So today, basically, we are going to be discussing the Folsom discourse. Nico, what is Folsom? It is a street leather and kink festival that has been going on since 1984. Nico, it is a paid event. The streets are blocked off. You have to be 18 plus to even buy a ticket. You will not be casually seeing into this festival unless you have an apartment that's along the festival lines. And if that's the case, it has been going on since 1984, so you know exactly where it's going to be. I don't understand the discourse anymore. Nico, I don't understand the discourse anymore for the sole purpose that when we were talking about Pride and Bandana Boy and then the public displays of kink at Pride, I said that I personally believe that it should not be along the main streets. Most Pride events have 18 plus sections, so if you want to go into that area and indulge in both public kink and or outrageous, scandalous, super happy adult fun time, then that's where it should be done. But in this particular situation, Folsom is an 18 plus event where it has not been sanitized for the mainstream consumption, meaning you know exactly what you're about to get when you go there. And yes, I am in defense of it because when we were last talking about the deviant events, I was basically saying that when it comes to having these spaces that are regulated specifically for this in an adult environment where children and or passerbys do not have to accidentally come upon it and their consent isn't taken away, I support it. If you have to pay to get into this 18 plus street festival where you see a bunch of sweaty leather clad gay and straight people entering, then this should not be as controversial as it seems. But we're going to get into it a bit more. But before that, if you like this kind of content, make sure to follow me on Patreon at patreon.com/Nicosaesthetics for more exclusive lives, weekly videos, be a part of the podcast, which should be airing again this upcoming Thursday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now that I'm back home, I can continue to upload episodes. But now that I'm done plugging, let's get back. And the reason I talk about this when I discuss Deviant is because we begin to see tweets coming up basically saying, oh, why don't we have a black Folsom? Why don't we have a black and brown Folsom? Why don't we have like a people of color Folsom? However you want to put it. And I want to reiterate that when we were discussing Deviant, which is essentially just a lingerie dance party, y'all lost your marbles. Nico, there was so much pushback and controversy over a lingerie party because they have a quote unquote dark room that you are not inclined to go into. If you want to, sure, without the dark room, it is literally just a dance party. So if y'all can't take a dance party where you keep your clothes on, what makes y'all think y'all can handle Folsom? And that's just me being real because our community is very critical of kink culture. The only time I'm like upset about it is if it takes people's consent away. But in this particular situation, my only other rule also came into play. Nico, I do not condone scat. It is a biohazard. It is not healthy for anyone at any connotation, any level, whatever. You will get sick and the people around you will get sick. Bubonic plague was the thing, B. Like, I don't understand why y'all don't. That's neither here nor there. It's not for me. I don't condone it. That's the one thing I do not support. I don't care what y'all got to say about it. Moving forward. This was a topic because most people who are old enough to understand this is a specific event that has been going on for decades. I don't understand why y'all are mad. We kind of ate our words because then some gentleman came forth and said that in protest of a lack of consent from people grabbing him at such festivals and other public events, he decided to smear feces across his chest and back. Nico, what is that? Poopy poop. I'm that bitch. I'm the shit. I'm Miss Poopy. Yeah, that was that was her. So that became an entire dialogue where everybody that was defending Folsom suddenly went, oh, okay, back to the actual dialogue because we're not going to tie that into it. So in that particular situation, if all the people involved and in support of Folsom actively turn their back on the person that smeared feces across them, I believe that's a fair sidestep, and we should move back to the actual dialogue. I cannot use that one person as an example. And yes, I understand that Folsom is kinky, is nasty. Like, I personally would not go just because I can't imagine walking past a public sock puppet display or, multiple little kiddie pools filled with urine. But that's just me. I'm sensitive to smell. But even people that were there were basically saying, I smelled him before I saw him. I was walking down in the crowd and suddenly I wafted a wave of feces and it hit me. And I hesitated. And when I looked to the side, I saw him. And the people that were trying to defend him and his consent idea basically said that he carried around wet wipes in case anybody accidentally touched him. Bitch, a wet wipe? You put in your feet. You woke up that morning. You sat on that toilet. You had your coffee and you had your bagel. And then you reached into the toilet. It smeared it on your body. Bitch, if I bumped into you, a wet wipe? A wet wipe? And that's the thing. In this situation, you can't even beat their ass because it's going to make it worse. So I'm just sitting here like, another reason why I'd personally never go. Let me not say never. Another reason why I personally have not gone. But I'm sorry. I'm really passionate about this part because I just woke up from a shivering cold nap, and the idea of bumping into somebody smeared with feces, it is sending me into a tizzy. So point is, everybody basically said no because even when the conversation of consent came up, he himself said 10% of it was consent, 90% of it is I'm a scat pig. Nico, I'm a scat pig. Oink, 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 oink. Basically, he just enjoys rolling around in poop. So it was like 10% social commentary, 90% he's just nasty bitch. I'm sorry. I'm not defending that one. But in general, I want to reemphasize that when it comes to public displays of kink, I believe that if it is in a regulated area, if it is in an area that is specified for that so that people won't just accidentally come across it, then it should not be an issue. Because Folsom, to my knowledge, once again, you have to pay to enter, meaning you're giving your consent to see whatever is about to happen there. So it is a specific area in San Francisco who already has like a very relaxed public nudity policy just for this entertainment that has been going on for decades. So y'all being upset is a little silly. And once again, I'm not comparing it to Pride, which has been sanitized and mainstreamed into a large family function for queer youth. But in this particular situation, the entire festival is an 18 plus zone, so it should not be this controversial. But I definitely want to hear your opinions down below. How did you feel seeing the scat pig in his social commentary on the timeline. How did you feel about people basically saying that Folsom is too vulgar, is too nasty, and I would never want to see it? So they're basically equating their own personal comfort to a vile action that someone else is committing upon them, even though you have to enter that space to get in. And this is, again, coming from commentary of someone who has never gone and probably will never go, just because I can't imagine bumping into somebody covered in poop. Would you ever go to Folsom? Seeing as how most people thought Scat Pig was disgusting, and that's not the norm, but there are more outrageous things happening that both straight and gay people are participating in. Because when we talk about Folsom, people usually relegate it to strictly a gay or LGBT event, even though there are straight people that are also there partaking, because straight people are kinky. Straight people are the majority. They also have wild excursions. Like, I don't understand why we only assume that gay people are the only people that experiment with their sexuality. But I think I'm done ranting for now. Oh. And how do you feel about areas and events that are specifically for 18 plus people to enjoy themselves and experiment, and it's a safe space because everyone consented to going, compared to pride events, which are now co-opted by the mainstream media and marketing campaigns that is more centered towards family-friendly fun involving queer youth with 18 plus sections in the middle? Yes, I definitely want to hear your opinions down below. And once again, sorry for the upload. As you can tell, I'm going through it because I had to fight through like icy water, but we up. And I'll see you guys next time. Boop. And now for a brief yet sincere shout out to this week's Third Eye Tier subscribers, George and Ian. Your continued support is greatly appreciated, and thank you once again for everyone who supports the channel. In this week's live stream discussion for the podcast will be over Folsom and public displays of kink within specific areas. If that sounds interesting to you, definitely tune in.